here and she's know that it was better, but.
So, a few years ago, I teach freshmen, junior, seniors, and my senior class, we started a communications class. And the kids did not want to get up in front of people and talk. They were embarrassed. It started with girls in the room and boys out. And then we flip-flop because they didn't want to speak in front of the opposite sex. And so to try to combat those feelings of uncertainty, we decided to do reading buddies in the elementary. So for the first couple of years, I worked with Mrs. Doolittle and Mrs. Beglin, and we would just go into their rooms once or twice a month and read to the kids. And then last year I worked with Mrs. Robbins, and we would read to each other. Her kids would come and bring books for my kids to read to them. And it kind of has grown into something that both sides ask about every week. Like I said, it turned into more than just reading to little kids. It got to be where they started building these relationships with these students. So this year we're doing it all year long. We're not just doing it one semester. We started in the fall, and now, like most of these kids, a lot of them have the same kid all year long.
We had both kindergarten.
Yes, and this year we have both kindergartens. So I have two of that class. And so both classes wanted to be a part of it. So now we're going to both kindergartners rooms at different times of the week. We come in here to read. Sometimes we go to the classroom. But it's really neat. I tell Heather every time we're in here, my mouth hurts because I'm smiling so much. It really gets me excited to see my big kids get excited to see their little kids. And we do more than just reading. They've provided crafts, and we've made turkey handprints. They each made their own handprints, so the little kids got to paint the big kids' hands. They loved that. Christmas, we got together and made cards for other people and did just coloring pages. Valentine's, we got together and made cards. But it's become something where I think my kids feel needed and wanted. This boy is not one who loves school. Doesn't really, school's not his thing. He's ready to get out. But this little boy has been in partner for the whole first semester. And then when second semester came around, he switched classes, and so he no longer was with this group. The first day we got together, this little boy started crying because his buddy wasn't there. And sat at a table by himself. I'm near tears. I'm trying to figure out what to do for this kid. I called down to where the classroom he's in, and I asked, what are you doing? He's like, the work day, not much. I'm getting things finished. I said, would you be willing to take 15 minutes and come read to your buddy because he's crying? You're not here. I'll be right there, Miss Buck. Came up, and this boy was just like elated. So excited to show off the little books that he had made and share with them. You know, a lot of, especially my boys, don't feel like anyone needs them, but I've got kids who just come up and just give them the biggest hug every time they get together. I don't know if you guys want to say anything too, but it's really special.
And we started working together last year because we had another student who, again, this was not texting here at all, and I think we'll have them come down and we'll call them our peers. And we'll talk about friendship, and we'll talk about kindness, and we'll talk about behavior in class, just like I would to my kindergarten. And he became such a role model for the kindergartners. And see him, wave at him. And I told him the first day, I said, I don't care what happens when you're outside of my classroom and outside the business of your kids. You be you, when you're with your buddies, but when you see you in the hallway, I don't want to hear you cussing. I don't want to see you causing trouble. I want you to be that role model. And he was.
Yeah.
He stepped up, and it was really neat to see. And what we've noticed for all the classes is the kids are immature when they're in the high school. And as soon as the kindergarten class shows up, they put it together and they are phenomenal. Phenomenal.
They really are. Like at first they're kind of like, "Ah, I have to go read this one."
The first week.
Yeah, but then by the second and third week, they're like, when do we get to go? Are we going today? Today's Friday, are we going? We get up here and they grab their kid and they go find a spot and they start reading.
They've also like, some of them that we have like, when they see in my room, they'll be like, hey, I saw you at the grocery store. I saw you at the basketball. Did you want to say hi to me? And then like our kindergartners get like all sheepish and they don't want to, like, oh my gosh, she was on the outside of this classroom. And for them, it's like the seniors are almost like, like they're almost hurt, like
Yeah.
that you were too embarrassed to say hi to me or anything like that. Or my kids will come in and be like, guess who I saw last night at Pickens Day? And so they started to see them out in the community as well. And the same thing, when they see their kindergartner, they kind of switch over from I'm hanging with all my friends and I'm gonna act different to, oh my gosh, that little person's looking up to me. I need to at least put on a pretty good face and show some good social skills when that child's in my presence.
My kids will come and say, oh, my little kid waits for me to be in the hallway. One little girl told my daughter, I really wish I had a phone. My daughter's like, no, you don't need a phone. I record it every day. So they're just building these relationships that are, it's really sweet to watch. Heather can attest to all of my tears this year as I sit and watch them. It's something special to see.
And so we're planning hopefully to do something with the two graduations, because we always have kindergarten graduation and we always have senior graduation. And so we're planning on a couple of things that.
For both of them, yeah, you know, passing over the baton to the next kind of generation.
And it is really cool because like even the couple that was here from Rio, like I talked to some other teachers about what we do with this, we teach in other districts. They're like, oh, well, our elementary and our high school aren't together. They could walk there. But they're not together, so they don't get to do that. So it's kind of a cool thing when we have that generational learning opportunity. And we're not the only ones, like,
Right.
I know there's like seventh graders going to fifth grade and like there's multiple levels of, and just having the freedom within the building to be able to let them intermingle. Which I will attest when we first moved here, I was like, you guys are crazy, why you let them intermingle? But why is there not a door between? But like being here, it's like, oh yeah, this is something unique, this is something special that Fall River offers. And it does help from the senior end all the way down to, we were also talking about when they leave. We were looking at that graduation and like, do we give that, like, we have them exchange or give them a flower and we have them give them, and we were like, oh, we should give them bracelets that when the seniors, like just a, you know, a token of something, but has their graduation year on it. So when those seniors leave and they're like, it's thrown in a drawer somewhere, they pull it out and they go, class of 2037. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, my kindergartner's in high school now, you know, like kind of that moment of full circle. The same thing when we walk through the hallways and we see all the other pictures from all the other generations, it comes full circle. And so it's awesome that way to do that, and that the kids are willing to come in and see
I
us.
love it. I mean, it might be a way for them to get out of class, but
There's good things happening.
yes, very good.
I know that my Olivia enjoyed it last year.
Yeah. They really do. They form these relationships with these little kids, and both sides have smiles on their faces.
That little girl gave a bunch of pictures to Olivia on the
Yeah.
school that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even
That was a big
some of my boys had little girls that they were working with and making Valentine's, and those little girls were making these boys Valentine cards.
Yeah.
And they're like, what were we saying? Happy Valentine's Day from your reading buddy, like, so.
It's
It's been
teaching
fun.
them some good empathy, because some of those
It
kids
is.
are not very empathetic to their peers. So it's giving them opportunities to model and show some that.
I like it, fun.
I think it's a great.
It's fun.
You can stay for the rest of